Wow, what a special grouping. Well, first of all, Dan the bad cop. Danny is. Let me explain Danny.
Dan the bad cop.
Yeah, let me explain Danny in detail. Danny is, because I never have. Danny is like a brother to me. Danny was the guy who would throw the first punch in my honor in a fight. He was also the guy who might be the only bigger fuck up than me I've ever known. Is that safe to say, you'd say? Yeah.
High praise.
He was a fucking rock star. Dan looked like a young Paul Newman, as opposed to an old Paul Newman. And in that police outfit you had on, you looked like a stripper, right? Would you say you were like that? And a lot of broads. And but again, me and Danny shared a love of the risk. And while you were in a uniform, it's safe to say you were a runner for a bookie. Dan would come to my apartment with the thing on, what's the mic on your shoulder? On duty. And you'd hear 211 in progress. All right, Lang, you have the Panthers. It was just, we had a lot of fun. Dan's the kind of guy, if you had half a sheet or a $50 bill, he would throw it down and go, let's drink it. And you were a cop for, I'm going to say, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And you drove up to my house in your sister's Chevette. And you said, let's go to Atlantic City. How much money do you have? I said, I got $180 upstairs. $183. I got in the car. We were doing 98 miles an hour in a Chevy Chevette. Do you know how much that shakes? I can't even describe it. Drinking in the car, we were mixing martinis out the window. Lines of blow on the fucking dashboard. We got pulled over about 50 times, and Dan would flash the tin and go, late for a pay job, and they would go, okay, be careful. Now a pay job is what? It's a side security job for a cop, and that's a nice amount of money. $20 an hour. Now I'm making Dan sound like a bad guy, but he's not. Like in our neighborhood, this is like a hero, and I love him. He was as good a friend as you could possibly imagine. But we grew up with different values, I guess, than other people. Even though Dan's father was a North police sergeant. What was he, a captain? And a good man. Again, a throwback. Our fathers died within 3 weeks of each other. And your father, did he make it to March? No, okay. My old man was February 1st, 90, and yours was just before that. And it was weird because Dan gave me $50 when my father died, and I gave him the same 50 back 3 weeks later. I didn't even spend the 50, and the same cold cuts as well. But they're fond memories, they really are, because you don't plan on being 50 years old. You never plan on turning 50. You're just having fun, and you're turning 50 tomorrow. That's unbelievable. And I'm turning 50 October 11th, assuming I make it there. Whenever I turn a different age, so much money changes hands on the internet. And they get mad at me. A guy goes, "What, dude, listen, did you have to make 48? I had my eye on a boat. So I brought Dan. I said, Dan, why don't you come? Our lives took different paths, right? I would pick you up for Saturday detention, and you'd be in the shower in February, and your hair would freeze, and you look like Snow Miser. Is that true? And I said, you ever been to St. Louis? And he said, no. I said, why don't you come? You'll go to a different city, a city you've never been to for your 50th birthday. How are you liking it so far?
Wonderful.
Why does he have a microphone?
Well, I'll give you one. It's wonderful.
Did we only bring 2 mics?
This one can only handle 2.
Oh, okay. What can only handle 2?
This one.
Oh. Why does every podcast I hear, like, with a cassette recorder have, like, a bunch of people? What do you mean I can only handle 2?
You can only handle 2 mics.
Oh, okay.
Well, how's the incentive of Sheridan for your birthday? How's it going so far?
Well, no, we're going to go out for fun. We're going to see the Arch, if you want to. Sure. To me, St. Louis is Carney with an arch. I was disappointed in St. Louis. I was. I thought like Chuck Berry, Red Fox, so many cool fucking people are from St. Louis. The Blues, the Mississippi River, and it's insanely disappointing. It's not Chicago. Chicago is amazing. You been to Chicago? No. Well, thank you.
How could you ask?
Thanks for coming.
The
other guy is Chad from St. Louis. Now, Chad, just explain how we know you.
So I am a regular caller to the Stern Show.
Is it safe to say your life is insanely different than Dan's?
Yeah, it's a little different.
And mine. So what? You're in medical school?
Yeah, I'm doing an MD PhD. So right now,
Explain what that is.
It's just a medical degree with a PhD.
What do you want to do? What kind of medicine?
Probably psychiatry.
Get out of here. We talked about this. Yeah. Now, what is wrong with Dan? Here, a day before his 50th birthday, can we figure this out?
What kind of insurance do you have?
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the first session. Now, seriously, why you have to go to full medical school to be a shrink?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be a heart surgeon, you got to go to the same amount. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And now, what do you want to? You want to be specific in some sort of head shrinking? Like what kind of? Any specific category?
Well, the research that I do now is actually comparing monkeys and humans, like how their brains change.
So Dan, I think Dan and I.
So it's a.
How many racist jokes are going through Officer McGrath? So go ahead. Really,
the
monkeys.
skull is thicker.
Monkeys and humans.
Yeah.
Well, Joey Fama, who chased Yusef Hawkins out to the BQE and killed him, said that a black person has an extra bone right here, and you can't. He actually said this on the news that you can't hit them here because they won't be hurt.
And in the ankle, right?
Well, that's sports. Was Joey Fama in fact right?
Sure.
Joey Fama said that on the news. The pride of Italians. He chased a kid out into this is what made Al Sharpton famous onto the Brooklyn Queens Expressway, and the kid got hit by a car. Fama, I think, is still in jail. He might have got killed in jail. But on the news, he said, yeah, you can't hit he said the N-word, and they bleeped it. You can't hit an ant right here because they got an extra bone and it's like a gorilla. Said that on the news. And I think they used that in court. So that's not true.
Probably not.
What about the extra bone in the ankle? I think Jimmy the Greek was making sense.
The jury's still out. I think the two major medical topics right now are the bone in the ankle and what squirting is consistent with.
Is that the major medical topic?
To me, yeah.
So honestly,
I love Artie giving some merit to that. So that's not true?
Well, I'm saying, I'm trying to, really make this whole thing serious. I wanted to do a serious show here on my father's 74th birthday. No, honestly, are you Freudian? Is everything based in Freud?
No, I mean, I haven't really done a lot of psych-type stuff yet. I mean...
The basic thing with Freud is sex and death. That's all people are obsessed with, right? There's no God. Sex and death are the two sort of things that you can't get out of your head. Woody Allen has said that too. Clearly, he doesn't care who he fucks.
A lot of the Freudian stuff, I mean, it's pretty dated, right? I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know that a lot of people consider.
Well, give me the look. The kid doesn't even know if a fucking microphone works.
No,
I'm kidding.
Come on.
What do you mean it's dated? I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, a lot of his concepts about homosexuality. And
what were those concepts?
It was about, you have like the oral phase, the anal phase, all that kind of stuff, and something about when you grow up, gets fucked up.
Right.
In one of these stages, and you get stuck in it.
Well, so Dan, you the oral or anal phase? No, wait. So explain what you just said. The oral phase is like when you're. Does that mean when you figure out you're gay at 10 or 11 years old, you want to blow people more than anything, or you tell people you're gay? Is that the oral phase? The oral phase is I'm gay, and then anal is you want to get fucked in the ass.
Exactly.
Okay. So how is that dated?
Well, it's
described every gay guy I know.
It just doesn't work that way.
Oh,
apparently.
Well, I was in LA County Jail. That was the exact. That was the exact way it went. Art, I want you to blow me. I want to fuck you in the ass.
So, what kind of therapy have you been in?
This is it. On stage, very little, court ordered, and I got a feeling some more's coming up the road.
Yeah.
Some tragedy in my life today. We won't get into it because my lawyer said not to.
Right.
My Cuban lawyer.
Are the Cubans good?
Yeah. The embargo's off on the cigars lawyer. But honestly, Freud is dated. I never heard that because I love Freud. I'm a big Freud guy. As far as comedy's concerned, why don't you like Freud? It sounds like you're dissing him a bit.
No, I don't dislike Freud. I just think that it was a long time ago, right?
Yeah,
before we knew a lot of stuff about how the brain actually works. And he was making a lot of guesses,
Okay, now would any of them right? Were any of the guesses on the money?
Like the idea that things are compartmentalized in particular areas of the brain, like that's true. But I think that was just a shot in the dark.
Now, what about he just guessed that? That's like my Uncle Sonny. I tell you, there's different parts of the brain. Can I get a ravioli? Now, he used a lot of cocaine, too. He was a big coke user, Floyd. Do you think that affected it?
Hey, man, I don't know.
He did a lot of blow. He would give it to patients. As a matter of fact, he would say, I notice when I give cocaine to patients, they're not depressed anymore. And then 3 weeks later, he noticed a big depression. He goes, that was probably bad. But he tested it on himself, too, you know. You never heard any of this?
Not really.
What are they teaching you over that shit?
Well, I didn't study psychology. I studied engineering.
You just told me what the fuck you're saying.
Well, I know, but psychiatry is different, right? It's like studying.
Don't cook down to me.
No, I'm just saying. It's
no, I don't. Well, explain it.
Different.
I'm not in medical school with you.
Study engineering and physics, and now he's going for a medical degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're compartmentalizing. What do you want to be?
The psychiatrist. But I mean, like they don't put us through like psychology courses like you would take if you went to like an undergraduate psych. Like you don't take that kind of shit. You just take these are what you prescribe for people with these problems.
Yeah. Well, so how to push pills?
Well, they teach you about the different pills.
Right.
And then
what are they telling you about the Adderall?
Adderall. Not a lot.
Well, not a lot. But don't you think? Do you think shrinks have to take some sort of responsibility for the insane epidemic with kids and pills as far as prescribing Adderall?
Just like physicians do with opioids.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Do you think they're dealers in a sense? Some of them, like no morals at all.
I don't know. A lot of people ask me about that and about how how many doctors have money coming in from pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that.
Is that going on?
I don't see any of that. I know that as far as like getting right. So I mean, a lot of the doctors. So Barnes Jewish is the hospital for WashU.
Right. It's the Jews, you think?
Yeah. It's probably.
What I'm saying is they're teaching you what exactly about pills. Like they're teaching you how to make a business for yourself, or how to cure somebody, how to treat somebody.
When you're sitting in the classroom for the first 2 years, it's like memorizing what are the symptoms of this person and what symptoms are necessary for prescribing a certain medication or for a certain type of therapy.
Okay.
And then you kind of just learn everything when you actually go in to the hospital and they throw you into the different specialties. I don't think that anything really sticks.
This is fascinating to me because say a teenager comes in and says, I'm having trouble paying attention in history class. Sure. I get straight A's and everything else, but I get a C in history. And their parents, of course, Mr. Mrs. Wonderful, their daughter, can't get a C. Yeah, they can't get a C in history. So how long before you say, okay, this is ADD and you need Adderall? Like how much information do you need from the kid?
I don't know. I mean, you'll see a bunch of shrinks prescribing stuff the first time you sit down with
them. That's
what
I mean.
Yeah.
Pills come right out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, the pills come right out.
Yeah, it's insane.
Immediately.
Right.
They don't care. Talk about a job, though.
Now, ethics. Are they teaching you ethics with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're taught ethics. I took a class called ethics.
But law, with law, it seems like ethics is like books this thick. And it doesn't seem like it's covered that much in medical.
I don't know. I mean, the ethics as far as in medical school, like the coursework and stuff, it's here and there. I don't know. It's just a very big, open kind of question.
What about the ethnics? Are there going to be a lot of black doctors? Now, are you this condescending with everybody you know? Because I think you have the doctor thing with it. You're on the money.
Am I coming off as condescending?
Insanely condescending.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
No, but that's all right. That's fine.
All right.
I have my flaws, too. Now, what about the brain? Like me and Russ are comedians. And would you say that there's a different part of our brain that makes us funny enough to make somebody forget they're paying $15 for a Bud Light? Like, honestly, the funny brain, the funny part of a brain, is there a part that makes you funny?
I don't know. What I've been thinking a lot
because you're a funny guy. I have to say this. On Twitter, you're witty and you're fast, and your analogy of the Stern Show, that's how I got to know you. You were really, really on the money with some Stern Show analogies, like on a different level than the average fan. And when you're texting, you can't hear condescension, so it was good. But so I said to Dan, I said, this guy is interesting to talk to, and you were also witty and sort of funny. Like, what makes that in a person? Is there something you could definitely point to in a brain?
What I've been thinking a lot about recently, and what I talk about in therapy a lot, is meaninglessness. Because
sort of like the show.
The more that I learn, the more that I learn about the brain, the more it seems like it's just neurons firing in different orders.
Explain what a neuron is.
It's a cell in the brain.
Now, what's
electrical,
a cell in the brain? Okay.
Yeah, like electrical impulses firing at different times in different orders at different frequencies.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, that's what it is.
Now,
that's all perception. That's everything. So if that's the case, then what's
you're saying it's random?
Well, no. I mean, it's seemingly random.
Right.
There's a method to the madness, but it's not. Yeah.
So you're saying there's some sort of a formula there that is hard to, not yet found, but the brain works a certain way for a certain reason, you think?
Yeah, and I think that it's something that will be reproducible soon. And I think that once we start being able to, just manipulate things as far as, like, I want to be happy. So
okay, wait a minute. That's okay. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So you could say, I want my kid to be a funny person, and you could sort of recreate that somehow.
I don't see why that wouldn't be a possibility in the future.
Wow.
I mean, Elon Musk says we could be living in a hologram.
Yeah, he also spent $1 billion trying to land a rocket on a fucking a piece of plywood.
But like, if that's the case, though, if it's just ones and zeros or something like that,
right,
firing like that you can recreate, then what's important about anything?
So you're saying, like, you could teach somebody to be an I question importance all the time. But so you're saying you could teach someone to be an artist almost? Is that true?
I wouldn't say that.
So,
I don't know. I think.
But how crazy is it? In other words, like, can you go up to can you make Tracy Morgan Woody Allen? Let's just call a spade a spade. In other words, can you preset? This is insanely fascinating. Preset a person, whether in the womb or something, or do something like, how would you do that to the brain? Where you
the way that I more think about it, that I think is more something that we're approaching right now, is like if you suffer from depression,
right?
And then we isolate it down to these particular cells in your brain are fucked up,
right?
Zap them or fix them or whatever. They give you a medication that directly hits those. And then you're not depressed anymore.
At what point in life?
Anymore.
At what point in life would this happen? Like, say your kid is depressed in the second grade or something. Can you do it then? Or you have to be an adult?
I don't know. This is all like,
this is a great conversation.
Future, but I mean,
like, how far in the future? Like, dude, you'd make a lot of money if you could figure that out.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
like Russ sometimes says to me, he'd leap off my balcony if he lived in my house.
I mean,
and Russ is a guy who's seemingly a winner in life. He does right with the broads. He's a comedian, a professional comedian. Look at him; he's working right now. He looks fine. But yet he gets depressed. He gets like, you would look at me and go, "Oh, of course." but why is that? Like, it really is unbelievable. Like, if my father found out I was depressed, what I do for a living, like my old man, it's his birthday today, and 74 years old, and in his honor, I'm going to steal a ladder. But he was like a hard-working guy, but a low-level criminal. I mean, he got to the 9th grade, and he worked his ass off climbing roofs, and he installed antennas all day and took a ladder off a frozen truck and made, I don't know, the most my old man made was probably $40,000 in a year, if that. I'm making that tonight. so now, but I get depressed. So he would probably take a ladder off a truck and hit me over the head with it. Why do I get depressed? What is it? Environment? Is it Dan? Both. No.
It probably has something to do with
environment. Like, how much does environment cause depression?
I don't know why I'm depressed half the time.
Are you depressed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been on So
good-looking people can get depressed.
Oh, please.
Well, Zoloft, again, I tried that too. It's like, I don't know. What does that do to you?
It's made things more bearable.
Really?
There were times when I was not on my antidepressants.
Yeah.
It's just fucking awful.
Right.
I never wanted to kill myself or anything like that.
I have.
It was a fucking nightmare. I don't know. And it was just the idea of waking up in the morning and
I hear you.
Am I going to feel like
Well, Russ, you told let Russ talk, because Russ, you've told me about that despair. I mean, like of hopelessness.
Yeah, of course.
When does that come on?
I have it every day. I have
every day.
Yes, every day, every single day. I have to manage a certain amount of it.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
Man,
I'm surprised you don't agree with that.
Oh, what do you mean?
I bet most people or everybody in this room
agree with what don't I agree with? I think I do. What do you mean?
Yeah. That there's frequent episodes where you have.
I have more episodes than Friends. I could not be in syndication.
But I think that
it's safe to say I'm suicidal once a day. Like not really like going to do it, but
but you think about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to do it, but there's times I can't get the thought out of my head.
Right.
So that's and I think that you probably had those thoughts as well, as much as you don't want to.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, the only reason when I was in the biggest despair and fucked up on drugs, the only reason I didn't drive to the Four Seasons in New York and go to the 80th floor and jump off, I honestly was afraid I'd fall on somebody and ruin their life. And on a future Oprah, it would say, Artie Lang fell on his son, and he's crying.
Did you read The Denial of Death, the book? Okay.
Yeah, well, see, but that's it. See, again, then you go to art, like Woody Allen. Woody Allen's an atheist, and he thinks, okay, all there is again, the Freudian thing. He thinks Freud is like the genius of all time. He thinks Freud justifies marrying your daughter, like literally. Like, I don't care about what I do on earth as long as I'm satisfied and it makes me not kill somebody else. There's sex and there's death, and that's it. And then you go away into... But if you just think of that, you're going to be a morose person. You're going to be depressed. So how does he get through that to write a great movie every year? Like, I just don't understand how you get how are you going to get out of your depression to save people in a psychiatry situation? Like, how are you going to get out of your depression to have a shrink session to where you want to help somebody? You know what I mean? It's to be productive in life. Like, Russ gets out of that depression and goes and makes people laugh. I mean, I do the same thing. You know, sometimes when you're in that moment, you say, I can't believe, I can't even get up. How am I going to go make people laugh right now? But somehow you do it.
Yeah. Well, look, we're smart people, and I think that when you get what the world is, that plays on your subconscious.
What is it?
You know that you're going to get old and sick and die.
Right.
And you're not convinced. And you're not convinced that there is something after this.
Right.
You want to believe it, but you can't. You just can't do it.
Now,
that plays on your subconscious in a very negative way.
But you have it. Forget your subconscious. And we could cut this out if you don't want to. But your dad.
No.
You have it right in front of you.
Yeah.
He takes care of his very sick dad, and you're doing the God's work, literally. He's got bad diabetic, and he says, "I don't care. I'm going out swinging. I'm going to eat and eat and eat." And it affects you. Yeah. It's kind of selfish on your dad's part.
Right.
I mean, you give him a haircut at times.
Right.
You take care of him, and you pay a neighbor to help him when you're not there.
Right.
So you got it in your subconscious and right fucking in front of you too.
Well, my mother was worse. I watched her just become a quadriplegic and die before my eyes.
That's what happened with my dad. Yeah, I don't.
But this is everybody's life, and
well, that's kind of rough. Everybody doesn't watch a quadriplegic, you know. But that's, you know. Right. Well, I mean, so how is that going to? You say that could be fixed one day, Chad? What he's saying, what he's thinking in his head.
I mean, you hope that's the case, and I think that at the rate that we're figuring stuff out about the brain with like MRIs and stuff like that, and I don't know. I just think that's the way that it's headed, and it seems like something that's the brain works in a discrete way, and there's no reason why we won't figure it out.
And you can't put a time on it.
No,
like by 8:30 tomorrow.
No, unfortunately.
Because all of us, this is an interesting group of people. Danny Filato has stories I just can't even. He's the most fascinating person on the planet. The shakes around Rick Steves, I just can't. That's the single most interesting thing about a human being I know. The Rick Steves situation.
Someone called him to Stern the other day and asked him about Rick Steves.
You're kidding me.
That was kind of funny.
Well, of course that's happening.
Gift for Dan Filato. Don't you wish Rick Steves that was your answer to make you happy?
Yeah,
I mean, don't we all wish we had that?
But it's not making him happy. It's fascinating. It doesn't make you happy when you have the shakes around Rick Steves. No. I can't believe you shared that with another human being.
The show is enjoyable to me, but there's hanging around with you and Russ. That makes me happy. That's fun.
Any girls?
Being with my wife, that makes me happy.
Okay. Don't dig the hole deep.
Yeah.
But now, do you know the Rick Steves thing with him? I love explaining this to people for the first time. I'm envious of you that you're about to hear this for the first time. You know, like my friend never saw the movie Buffalo 66. And I said, you know what? I wish I were you. You're about to see Buffalo 66 for the first time. All right. I get so excited. Do you know what Rick Steves is?
No.
This is great. Okay. Rick Steves has a travel show. You know, like people tell you how to get a good deal on a hotel, and that's all he does. That's what he's also very effeminate. I mean, right there, would you say that? He's very effeminate?
You know, in the past, I didn't notice it, but now that in the last 2 years...
Okay, that's another... Again, I'm so glad you're here, Chad. Didn't notice. Let's just stop right
Because he had his wife and kids all the time on the show.
So did Liberace. Let's just take this. Let's compartmentalize.
I'm sure I can pull him up for Dan McGrath to see.
Okay. Well, okay. You know what? That's key. I want you to hear what he sounds like, Rick Steves.
First of all, you know how many rest stops are packed with guys with families? I mean, the guy's married. He's got 500,000 miles on his new car.
Chad, aren't you excited that Dan's going to hear this for the first time? Chad is a very big, we're busting chops. Chad's a good man. He's a very big supporter of the podcast, which means intelligent people like this shit. Now, what about other people at Washington University? Do they poo-poo this, or do they mock you for liking this show?
No, it's weird. I've been thinking a lot more lately, too, about this whole PC, political correct thing.
Right.
And as somebody who teaches, it's really easy to get fucked by political correctness because people are ready to be offended by you.
Sure.
And they're ready
to take
you down a path.
I know.
You talk to faculty who have been around for decades at universities, and
they can't do it. Their hands are tied sometimes.
You get worried about having a personality at all.
Right. Right, being an individual at any level.
Yeah, because if you say the wrong thing about anything, I'll give you an example.
This is such a good point.
At the medical school, they have a yearly musical that the med students put on. Of course they do. Yeah,
that Rick Steves and Dan are in.
Right. And I think it was Young Frankenstein, right? And an Indian dude played Frankenstein.
Indian dothead woo woo. Go ahead.
The dot.
The dothead guy.
Yeah.
Put the candle back. Yes. Do not open this door. Whatever you do, I was lying. Put the fucking door up. Open the door.
Fire is bad.
Yeah.
Fire bad.
Fire bad. So, God, I'm sorry. We got to take it down.
Right. And so they had the poster for it, and the dude's on it, and it's they use the sepia tone filter, like the grayish, greenish kind of color.
All right.
On the photo.
What? Again.
For whatever reason, I don't know. They put it up, and I guess it looked like the dude was in blackface because of the makeup and
also because he is. He's an Indian. He's in very dark brown.
They had multiple town hall meetings addressing people who were
because of the poster.
Offended by the poster.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow. That is absolutely. Think about that. That's insane. That would be the cover of Waste of Time magazine. I mean, that is unbelievable. At Washington University.
Yeah, the medical school. Yeah.
Could you imagine? And now, but
see, I'm thinking now, am I going to get in trouble for even bringing that up?
No one listens to this.
Right. No.
Unless my cousin teaches there. Okay.
No, but really, it's something that I constantly think about. And people ask me that too.
You should think about it. It's because, listen, you brought up teaching.
Yeah.
Everybody relates the PC thing to comedy and how it squelches creativity. You're afraid to go further. But think about it. It squelches what you teach a kid. You can't. In other words, use an experience in life as a way to teach somebody, which to me is the best way to teach somebody, because it might offend somebody.
It's not even the offensiveness, too, about, race or sex or whatever. It's
Plus, have you noticed a vast difference? It's such a vulture culture. Everybody wants everybody fired.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
They want something. They want to pound the flesh. They want to know they got something out of you.
They want to pile on.
Well, exactly.
They smell blood in the water, and they want...
Exactly. It's PC Sharks, I call it. No. When I got in trouble for that, I can't breathe joke I made, okay? They got me thrown off Midnight with Chris Hardwick, celebrity version. That's literally what they got. And that, yeah, exactly. So that's what they got from me. And they were happy. Then they laid off. They got something. But if they didn't get that, if Chris Hardwick had a fucking spine, you dick.
You have $6 for a fucking pizza that day.
Exactly. What are you talking about?
Remember Wolfman Punk's place? Remember we had him?
Wait, what are you saying?
We're in California.
Right.
TV.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have the money for the fucking food at Spago.
Dan is talking about a story. Chris Hardwick. Yeah, I know. Right, okay. Well, they don't know that. You're just throwing out non sequiturs. I've known Chris Hardwick before. We were friends because he guest starred. That's where Man TV was. He guest starred on Man TV when he was doing Singled Out. And before he came up with the fucking hustle about he's a nerd. A lot of nerds fuck Carmen Electra, you ass. God, that pissed me off too. Yeah, we were friends, and he didn't fucking no spine at all. He's like, hey, he's not on the show.
Well, I was texting Dan about this recent thing that Joe Rogan picked up on, and that he's so there's this. It's about there's this website that does video games, right? And there's this dude named Colin Moriarty, who is he's making rounds now because it's a perfect example of what we're talking about. He tweeted on International Women's Day, so there's a hashtag trending, right? That's a day without a woman,
right?
And he wrote peace and quiet, a day without a woman.
Okay.
He had to leave his company.
Unbelievable.
He
got fired.
Yeah. How old is that joke?
Wow.
How old is that
First
joke?
of all, you know what? All of the family would not be on the air. I mean, the Jeffersons, would they be on television? No. That's fine. But Sanford and Son. Okay. Sanford and Son was the number 3 show, 1974. The entire year, number 3 in the whole. 80 million people watched it every day, every time it was on. Okay, Red Fox used to say this joke frequently. Aunt Esther would come over, a large African-American woman, and Red Fox would get upset, and he would go, Esther, why don't you go in the kitchen and stick your face in dough and make gorilla cookies? That was on the number 3 show. Think about what you just said. Peace and quiet. That's unreal.
And
that's unreal.
I think it was the International Business Times. The headline was a racist tweet.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Race. My God.
Do you believe the amount of energy that's gotten behind Throw Like a Girl?
Yeah.
Do you remember that with the commercials?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Are you kidding?
Absolutely. Nick DePaul, our friend, has one of the best jokes ever as far as women in the military.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't give a shit about women in the military, but at least see if they're physically and I'm butchering the punchline. I'm butchering the setup, but the punchline was like, I don't want to know that we lost 3 of our guys at the bunker because Pam's grenade throw was 2 feet. 2 feet shy. It's way better than that, but Pam's grenade throw. Yeah, you can't deal with reality. Like, okay, maybe Pam doesn't have an arm like Rocco, and but if you question that, you could get fired from your company. For that joke. It's not even a great joke. It's not even really. It's unreal.
It's lightly joking around.
That makes you furious. It makes you fuming.
Do you think anyone's actually offended, though?
Huh?
Do you think anyone is actually offended?
No. That's another good point. That person wanted attention. And again, I was joking around. Me and Gilbert Godfrey were talking on the air about it. He said, made a good point that the Marx Brothers could not be because Chico clearly makes fun of Italians. Harpo makes fun of mutes and goofs on a handicapped person, and Groucho is a smoker who's anti-woman, goofs on women. And I took it one further, and this is not untrue. Today, the only Marx brother who could get a development deal is Zeppo. The most annoying, awful, unfunny one, because he's safe. He's safe. And that's what stand-up is now. Aziz Ansari sells out 18,000-seat theaters because he talks about brunch. Going to brunch with people. And you never have anything dangerous coming around the corner. The unexpected, the what might happen, the fear that you had when Kinnison was on stage. You don't have that. You just wait to hear what fucking Nick Kroll had.
Yeah, well, a lot of the public is tired of it, I think.
Well, it's going the other way.
For a reason.
It's going the other way.
And when we're in these clubs, I mean, most of the time, they're with us. They laugh at the harshest stuff, and well, I mean, even at the cellar or whatever, there's some once in a while you run into it, but for the most part,
right. And when a guy, that's a good point. That is encouraging. And when a guy moans, when a 25-year-old guy moans at something, I actually sometimes I put the lights. I go, I have to see what guy just moaned at. I want to see you. I want to put a face on what's ruining me. I want to see it because again, for me to moan at Sam Kinison when I was 25 years old, he would have had to been beating my mother with a salami on stage, and we'd let it go for a couple minutes. She's a bit of a annoying. So Chad, but you're a young guy. You're a millennial, right?
Yeah, I guess so, technically.
Yeah, and how old are you?
30.
Yeah, that's millennial. And, God, I was, 19 years old when you were born? Holy shit. What were we doing at 19? My God. Oh, my God.
Me too.
That was 49 as well. But you see a pushback in your community amongst 30-year-olds where, like, what Russ just said is true?
Falling in line. They're probably falling in line.
Yeah,
because they're afraid of something being taken away from them.
By university stuff, right? Which it's the fucking worst.
Is Washington as bad as these other things we see on TV?
I think they're all awful. Harvard's kind of leading the way.
Harvard is the big one. Well, Brown, I heard, is bad. So all the Ivy League schools are against freedom of speech.
Well, I don't know if you saw this the other day, and I'm not like completely educated on it, but apparently at Harvard now they're doing away with single gender societies.
What?
And if you are a member of one, they can keep you from getting
a single gender society.
Like a frat. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Now wait a minute. So what do you mean? So they're actually actively doing that right now?
Yeah, and I think the rule is that if you are a member of one, if they find out, you can't be a leader in sports or
frat.
Government.
So if you're in a frat,
yeah, or a sorority, I guess.
Wait, so in other words, being in a frat right now on a campus like that is a secret thing?
I guess it has to be.
Wow.
And if they find out, you're fucked, I guess.
What about Bluto Butarski at Animal House? I mean, think about that. It's like, I mean, come on. Again, I guess maybe it's all of our own fault. So, like people like Dan and loves Elizabeth Warren and all this stuff. I mean, admit it, Dan. You love her. And you're the reason. You're the reason. No, honestly, I'm just saying, these liberal motherfuckers who came around show business years ago, they wanted it, they got it. They let it fucking happen. These managers who are afraid to say a woman might not be as funny as a guy and who give them development deals. I mean, Tig Notaro, okay, right? I mean, Tig Notaro is a person. And, she's funny. She was on our direct TV show. Can you name 3 people as funny as her right off the top of your head? I can't. And, she got cancer. She survived. That's amazing. But, she's on the 50 best comedians list in the history of Rolling Stone. David Tell and Dennis Miller are not on the list.
Wow.
Tig Notaro is.
Is Amy Schumer on there?
Of course she is. Right. What kind of a ridiculous question is that?
You give too much credit to one guy that writes for Rolling Stone that's putting the list together.
Well, still, it's Rolling Stone. It's something to talk about.
The whole world's changed. Even Rolling Stone is...
Yeah, no, I know. As soon as they had NSYNC on the cover...
I mean, come on.
It kind of goes out the window. But, Norm Macdonald's not on the cover. Not in the 50th best. David Spade's not in the 50th best. David Tell... and Amy Schumer. Like, Amy Schumer is a friend of mine. I don't know what I can say.
That's why a podcast like this is important.
Yeah, well, tell somebody about it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
to 300 people at the Funny Bone later. A month from now, when I'm in jail, you guys got to continue this. Maybe we'll do it from Rikers. I'm depressed by it. See, this part of my brain gets depressed when I think of the fact that people, you think it's getting better. There's pushback on it. I don't know. I think it's so ingrained in young kids who grew up with Richie Zambora telling them this is offensive, don't say it on MTV, and Lenny Kravitz telling them this is offensive, don't say it on MTV, and interracial dating is good.
But the Trump win didn't encourage you at all. I mean, on some level.
Yeah, but show business hasn't gotten the answer. It's they fight against it, and Trump to me is like when you watch the Animal Planet or something, and that an elephant has 50 baby lions on him, like trying to take him down. Yeah. That's what Trump seems like. CNN is just an entire network. Is their entire goal is to take him out.
Right.
That's depressing to me. Look at Rachel Maddow, who I had to follow on the Tonight Show once. You were there, right? Oh, she was so funny. It was so hard to get laughs after that. I was told by a segment producer, sorry, we didn't want to give you something that might be a little difficult to follow. I swear to God, that's what he implied to me. Yeah. I said, "Did you dig up Kinnison? What are you talking about?" And I said, "Rachel Maddow." I didn't know who she was. I asked Dan, and I said, just make sure that guy's watching the monitor. I could have killed in a coma. Her big thing was she mixed a martini. She was edgy. Oh, let's have a drink on camera. So someone like her thrives, but you know what? They're fucking up. You let them. Well, that's what I'm going to say. You let them to their own devices, they will eventually start doing shit like that. They want him so bad, they're going to fuck up. Like their vision is blurred by the hatred for him that they're going to start fucking up.
I can make the same. You talk about CNN?
Rachel Maddow with the MSNBC when she came up with the tax returns, and it wasn't a big deal.
Oh, right.
She kind of got baited into it. It sounded like Trump sent it over, and it made him look good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it was nothing to it. But you can take the other side of it. Fox News is trying to take down.
Oh, well, that's been true for a long time.
Yeah.
But CNN always was against that, but now they're playing in the same waters. You're getting dirty.
Equally as bad.
And you know who else figured it out is Colbert. I got to start being in those dirty waters to get ratings.
Yeah.
And his ratings went up because he started talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Well, the last month he's beating Fallon every night.
Really?
Yep.
Is that true?
On the Trump beating, yep.
On the Trump beating. Well, what do you think of Colbert? Are you guys in college like him? Is he a big guy in college?
I haven't heard anyone talk about lit at all.
What do they talk about? Are you getting a narrative going with the Artie Quitter podcast?
I'm trying to get the word out.
What's happening?
What's happening?
What about the poster? Put me up with the Young Frankenstein poster.
Right. I'll try. Yeah.
No, like when these people threaten after like that one joke I made that got me in trouble. They threatened to protest my show. I'm like, I will send you a car. I will send you a car and the construction paper to make up signs. That would be the greatest thing ever. I want publicity.
I think it's that people don't know how to argue anymore.
Absolutely.
There are so many ways to find...
Wait, let me push back on that. Okay. Listen. No, it's like the old Monty Python sketch. You want an argument. You want a conversation. This isn't an argument. This is a conversation. You ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. In other words, people don't even know what it is. They don't even know if you're in an argument anymore. Someone could be goofing on you. Russ does it every night to some guy in the second row. The guy doesn't even know he's being goofed on.
I think this is the next HBO thing for you. If they really, things work out, I think a late night show the way it's supposed to be done with Artie Lang.
You really? You think they'll go for that? I'm hanging on tooth and nail for this one to be the fifth lead of the show.
It would totally work anyway.
Sam Simon. Sam, you listen to this, dickhead? Get up. Are you getting fucked in the ass by somebody right now? Is Mussolini's girlfriend have a strap on and fucking you in your fucking mouth?
Ralph Sorella.
Is it right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Really hope about that. Ralph will be down there soon. He'll be down there. You fucking Rasputin. Don't let any of the eyeliner you have on get on that chick's fucking fake dick. So, I forgot what I was talking about. No, Sam pitched me to HBO years ago. This was after I walked the Sex and the City writers at the Aspen Comedy Festival. I say, I spelled dick, did you burp? I didn't know it was them. But he called me up giggling, the evil Sam Giggle. He had an animated show based on The Simpsons that he was going to go. And they asked him, what kind of talent would you want for the lead character, a guy? And Sam goes, did you do anything to HBO, like rape a daughter of theirs? I said, no, why? He goes, yeah, I pitched you, and they said, we think Artie Lang is an ogre. Wouldn't do it. 7 years later, well, I'm going to blow this. But I was on a season of a show. Now it's cyclical, right? We're gonna get back into this. Do you guys, are they watching Crashing? Is it all over the campus?
I can't say that it is.
Just say it is.
Yes, absolutely.
We need a soundbite.
Right.
Chad, how long before you get this ridiculous degree?
I should graduate in maybe 4 years.
Can you intern for us at that point?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, are you going to go right into practice? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Memphis.
Okay. Yeah. Are you going to go back there?
No, I don't have any family there anymore. I kind of hated it. I was the only white kid in the public school.
What about Elvis's kid?
Nope.
Oh. Did you go to Graceland every once in a while and just sit there and be depressed?
I never went to Graceland
come on.
Until a couple of years ago.
Oh, right.
I went down with a friend of mine. We went to Graceland, and there it was.
Is it disappointing?
Yeah, I mean, everything's disappointing, right?
How's this going? Yeah, you're right. Everything's insanely disappointing. There it is. That's what I say to girls. I go, get ready. Get ready. I gotta take a diabetic piss.
Technical. I have technical problems.
John Carney on KTRS.
Artie Lang takes the station. We've visited before, but never met. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, John.
Good
it's
to
a pleasure
see you alive.
to be here. A lot of people say that, my mother. Well, thank you. It's good to be alive, I think.
Is that why Drew Pinsky is in the lobby? Do you travel with him? Or?
Yeah, Dr. Drew wanted to make about $4 million on my death, but I said no. I didn't want a roommate like Dennis Rodman. He tried to get me on Celebrity Rehab about 50 times. Yeah. And Drew's a good guy. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus.
I'll do it.
Well, I mean, you know, when I was on Howard, obviously plugs on that show were a big deal, and I was a mess. And he kept saying, come on, it'll be great for, addicts, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know, my mother knows I did cocaine. She never saw me do a line of it. I think that might kill her. And if I'm in rehab throwing up in the same garbage can as Dennis Rodman with orange hair, she might die. So I don't want to do that.
She's not a basketball fan? Is that the problem?
She's not a throwing up in rehab fan. It got up to $350,000. That's what he owed for 3 weeks. And Howard said, look, go do what you got to do, come back. And I kept saying no because I'll just do the road more and get more and more in the junkie hole. But I couldn't do Celebrity Rehab. And Dr. Drew, if he was out there, it would be for $350,000. I like him, but there's always cash involved.
So do you think if you never had a drink and you never did a drug,
right,
would you be as successful as you are now?
Excellent question. No, I would not be. I don't think so. I needed the demons to help me. You know, I really did. What do you think? What's your answer to that question?
I don't know. I didn't have any. I asked the question. So you're the guest.
I think I would not have had that successful of a career.
You know, and I think there's probably a faction of people going, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
Well, yeah, like my family.
Well, I try to leave your parents out of it.
My father's dead, but I know if he was looking up or down, he would be very disappointed. He hated drugs, and he was like very anti that and gambling. He worked hard. He got to the 10th grade and climbed roofs for a living. If he knew I lost a mortgage payment on the Cowboys, he would want to hit me with a bat.
So apparently that kind of thing skips a generation,
and
like
your
midgets. Kids are going to be very responsible.
Well, it's like midgets. That and gambling and drugs. Midgets skip a generation, and so does addiction.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Little people, I think, is the actual.
Well, midgets are complaining about everything nowadays. They say, I saw a midget on CNN say, calling a little person a midget, same thing as calling a black man the N-word. I went out and I tried both things, and I got to tell you, big difference.
Yeah.
One will get you smacked in the shin, and the other will get you locked in the trunk of an Impala.
Now, what about an African-American little person?
Well, that would be a black midget.
That would be in a Fiat.
That would be a black midget. African-American, flawed name, because Charlize Theron is technically an African-American. It makes no sense. What's happening? Black guy, white guy. End of story. There's nothing wrong with that.
Charlize Theron is African-American?
South
I need
African.
to fix the color setting on my flat screen.
Well, she's from South Africa, so technically... My favorite thing about little people, though, is midget porn is now little people porn. How fun is that to say? You sound like the good witch of the West. Would you like some little people porn? Who wants to see some little people porn?
Just click those tiny shoes together 3 times.
Dorothy, click those shoes and you'll be the star of little people porn.
You're a terrible influence on me. Let me just throw that out.
It'll be like Gulliver's Travels. You're the giant in little people porn.
I had a question like 10 minutes ago, and I didn't write it down, but I'll see.
Don't you think midget is kind of one like the N-word is the granddaddy? I hate, and I'm Italian, and Guinea, nothing compares to the N-word. That stops everything. Don't you think so? Like nothing's in its league. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you could hear it all over. Yeah,
right.
You
all over. It's like ringing.
But you hear it all over music.
Well, exactly. Black music, absolutely. But if I was an Italian rapper, I guess I could say Guinea, but I wouldn't.
Is there such a thing?
As Italian rappers, absolutely. Vanilla Ice is pronounced icy. Vanilla gelato. Rap is a great art form, but
really,
yeah. Well, listen, some of it.
I'm going to get to this question.
Go right ahead.
I don't even remember what it was.
I think he's very good on the radio.
There's a faction of people, I think, that along the way in your career,
right,
when you have imploded at various stages, they were like, what the hell is wrong with that guy? He's on Howard Stern. He's making all this money. He's doing stand-up. He's making all this money. He's doing these movies, making all this money, and he keeps screwing it up. Did that conversation ever go on internally with you or no?
Oh, God, yeah. I have an internal voice that says all these things that are crazy. I have an internal voice that's a gay voice. It says I might be gay, and quite frankly, it's I've turned it down so much it just gives me fashion advice now.
Is that why you're on my lap? Because there's other chairs in this room.
The gay internal voice just says, "Are you wearing that belt?"
And nothing else.
Are you wearing that belt? Lose the slacks. But yes, the internal voice is there's a lot of guilt. Brought up Roman Catholic, and what are you doing to your mother? Blah blah blah. But people who say I can't believe he keeps doing heroin they've never tried heroin.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It really is. It makes you feel euphoric. It's not like Brussels sprouts.
Well, you're not cooking them right.
You know what? I could use some advice. If you can make Brussels sprouts be like heroin, everything's going to be fine.
Try some bacon, a little balsamic vinegar.
I love bacon.
Imagine that.
I know.
Artie
like
Lang.
Anderson. What is that?
Artie Lang is here.
Alcohol.
I gotta take a break because I gotta catch.
Do we have to do it all of a sudden?
Yeah, commercials and stuff.
You really are a great conversationalist. You can tell when somebody is good on the radio when you meet somebody who's bad on it. Like I have this whole morning.
You're apparently high now, aren't you?
Well, no, I have a permanent running nose because I snorted glass. It's a long story. I fell off the wagon. And, you want to take a break? I got a great story for you.
Well, all right. Will you come back with the glass story?
Yeah, okay. I got it.
John Carney on KTRS.
All right, 1242, Carney Show actor Peter Coyote will be with us in a little while. Also, former director of the CIA and the NSA, General Michael Hayden. Right now, Artie Lang is here. He's at the Funny Bone shows tonight, tomorrow as well. And Joe Buck just texted me and told me to tell you to piss off.
Joe and I, again, have our stories etched in history.
And you're good friends. And people need to know that. And if they read Lucky Bastard, Joe's book,
right,
which is one of the few autobiographies I've read in crayon, but and he mentions me, so I appreciate that.
That's nice, yeah.
So and in the book he talks about being addicted to hair plugs, and we were talking off the air about every book, every autobiography needs to have, and I'm sure it's the publisher saying, we really need a catch. We need a hook. We need something that Larry King's going to go, oh, my God, unbelievable.
I know your father.
You've penned a few books, and it seems like there isn't a page on your book that isn't one of those crazy stories.
I had a million of them. In show business, I had to keep going and going with heroin stories. He gets one hair plug weekend, then he gets a deal. I said to him, what is it? You get Valium at the hair plug thing, and so you're addicted to that? And no, it's just hair plugs. I said, so you're addicted to looking like Matthew Perry? I don't understand what you're talking about. And he said it gets addictive because you want to look good on TV, and it's anxiety. I said, well, get an uglier guy than Troy Aikman. Stand next to John Madden. You never saw Summerall in the hair plug.
You're not getting out of the story, Artie Lang, of sniffing glass.
About 11 months ago, I fell off the wagon. The worst thing for me is a hot chick with cocaine. That used to be my world. And I was in Boston, and I did a gig, and I come back to my hotel about 2 in the morning, clean. I'd been clean for 8 months. I go on and off. I have weekends. And I see this girl I used to date. We'll call it date. Irish girl from Southie. And type of chick was a first-round draft pick in 1984. Now she's ready for a Hall of Fame speech. Bad knees.
If there's leaving money on the dresser involved, you can't say girlfriend.
Well, it wasn't. No, it was not. It was leaving money in her bank account.
Okay. All right. My bad.
It was leaving money at the realtor. So no, she was a doll, and but real pretty and petite, but she had that Southie accent. Like, come on, Artie. She sounded like Mark Wahlberg.
I'm getting so turned on right now. I can't. Just even secondhand.
So I'm alone, and I did a show, and I'm kind of pumped up for the show. And she goes, I got an 8-ball. And I said, you want to play 8-ball? And I got 8-ball. So I'd be a millisecond to say okay. And that started no less than 2-week bender where she would come on the road with me. And I would get her a room. I was good. I knew how to sneak her around. It was like Marilyn Monroe in the White House. But instead it was me and her at Sheraton in Milwaukee.
Peter Lawford doesn't have a beach house anymore. And he's dead.
I know, the poor guy. He was incontinent at the end. So there's nothing worse than an English guy incontinent. I've seen it.
I'm not incontinent. That's just spray from the beach.
Damn Kennedys! So Last day of the run, I say I got to get this woman out of my life. We're at the Four Seasons in New York. I'm dropping like $8,000 a day. This woman could find the most expensive plate of strawberries in any city in the world. Whipped cream, robes with her name on it. I'm like, how did you get a robe with your name on it already? We've been here for 2 minutes. The concierge is so nice. She says to me, I got a package downstairs. All right. She ordered room service. She would get those Oxycontin pills, and we would crush them and store them. She crushed it with the salt shaker from room service. I didn't know this. Before she does the line, she goes downstairs. I see it set up. I do a line of Oxycontin. I snorted glass. It felt like a zipper. It went I looked in the mirror, and I said, well, now everything's happened. I've snorted glass. And I wanted to strangle her. When she came up, I would have thrown her off the balcony. The detective in the hotel would have had to stop me. And she came up. I said, what happened with what did you crush up the pills with? She goes, oh, I'm sorry. I said, do you see I look like Vito Antifermo after the Hagler fight?
The salt shaker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my God, Artie, let's call emergency.
You mentioned that.
So that I had to get an operation. I got an operation.
But you mentioned, I know your breasts look perkier for some reason.
I think the guy was from Southie who gave me the operation.
You mentioned that this little voice told you had to get rid of her. So
that was a big voice.
That voice.
As a judge.
You owe a lot to that voice.
In a way. No, the voice inside me, I wish it was a little more convincing. Not exactly F. Lee Bailey when it comes to don't do coke.
But you've pulled a plane out of a nosedive how many times now?
Yeah, I am Sully.
It was rhetorical. You really don't have to answer.
No, I know. But I'm saying, I was trying to think of a funny answer. I can't.
No, that's right. Save it for the funny bone tonight and tomorrow.
The unfunny bone.
Which apparently the funny bone. You've got less than warm memories. I'll
tell you what happened. And this, I'm not saying this like a master.
Was there a salt shaker involved?
No,
you told that story.
Almost. I was on stage in Pittsburgh, and I repeated a story. A 400-pound guy in the front row went, "Did it!" Scumbag. Thanks for coming to rehearsal. So, okay. I get on stage. I don't say, how's it going, guys? I'm on stage for 3 seconds. Something hits my arm. I look down, an entire sub sandwich, a full roast beef and provolone with oil and vinegar and lettuce and tomato. And the lettuce is all over the place, like that sub shop lettuce, falls down. And I go, all right, guys, thank you, but I got to do the show. They chanted, the F word for gay people. They chanted, eat it, F word for gay people, until I took a bite of it. I had to eat the sandwich before, or they wouldn't stop chanting. So I ate the whole sub sandwich. I did 14 shots of tequila.
What was it, Jared, who was there?
Yeah, he was with the little boy. It was he was
too soon.
It's never too soon for that. But actually, that leads into my next announcement. I'm the new Jared. I just got the call from Subway.
Did you really?
I am. I'm the new Jared. It was an easy audition.
Congratulations.
They said, would you lose weight and have you ever dated a child?
He got beat up in prison last week.
Of course he did.
Isn't that terrible?
Look, I did 3 months in L.A. County Jail. 3 months, okay? I showered in between a blood and a Crip who were mad at each other. I was never so happy to be fat and ugly in my life. And, that's because... That's because I was on a TV show. I was on Mad TV, the lowest rated show on the planet. They thought I was a big shot because of that. And everybody came at me, and I got my own cell, thank God, because Quincy Jones, who produced the show,
came at you with a sub sandwich.
Well, I wish I had one. So that's happening to me. What's happening to Jared? They have to protect him every day. I'm sure.
So
every day.
You're not the new Subway guy. All right. You
well, it's pending. It's between me and Kevin James.
You were like. All right, so
it's between me and Jerry Sandusky.
All things being even, if you could endorse a product,
yeah.
What would you like to be the spokesman for?
Strong glass for salt shakers. Oxycontin that doesn't break easy. No, it would be. I don't know. It would be. I guess chocolate milk. I guess I don't know. Seriously, there's diners have the greatest chocolate milk, and I can't understand where they get that syrup from. There's Jay's syrup that hasn't been produced yet. At a mass level. I would try for some sort of sweet dessert.
Okay.
And I think I'd make a lot of money with that.
I think you would, too.
Because look at me. I'd get this body running 10 miles a day.
What is your relationship these days with Howard? Do you guys still talk?
Howard Stern?
No, Howard Hessman. No, yes, Howard Stern.
I prefer Howard Hessman. We hate each other.
Seriously?
Yeah. He started hating me for some reason. He wouldn't tell me why. And stuff happened in between as a reaction to that. Now I hate him. Quite frankly, we were friends, as close as friends could be, but he's acting like a scumbag. He's treating people not well who should be treated better in his life, in my opinion.
Norm Macdonald, somebody else I want to ask you about, because it seems like your paths have crossed a few times, and he's been, probably as close to a guardian angel as someone could be for you.
Norm and me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Am
Well,
I
Howard
right?
was too. The Howard issue was something totally separate.
I, on the other hand, will be no help to you in your career.
Well, so the number they gave me was fake?
Yeah, that's it. I got nothing.
No. Norm, of course, gave me a job. Norm loves losers. That's what he said to me after I got the job. I in Dirty Work. I never met him until the screen test for Dirty Work, and I got the job. And I had already been in L.A. County. I got out. He knew my problems. And he said, "You're the best guy for this gig, so I'm giving it to you." He goes, "I love losers. Nobody wants to give it to you. You're good at one thing in life, and that kind of fascinates me." He said, "Just don't take it across the border because we're shooting in Toronto." I said, "Fine." Everything went great. We became good friends, and he gave me a job when I needed it, and I love the guy. But this business is filled with weird people where we're all flawed, and sometimes I can't get the guy on the phone.
And like what I mentioned to you earlier, that you probably wouldn't be where you are had you not had these series of train crashes or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I had stories to write about. They give comedians book deals, and they don't write about anything. I had real stories to write about that I was willing to tell, and I talked to everybody before it came out to make sure they weren't mad. I definitely did that. I did the right thing.
But do you think about that when you implode, or when you relapse, when you whatever the hell you want to call it?
No relapse.
Do something where it's not going to end well. No. Is there part of the internal conversation going, well, the upside is I'll probably get a chapter out of this in the next book?
No, it's not that clear. But when I'm thinking about the next book, I go, I got that. I got the time, I crap my pants in a Santa suit. I could go with that. Listen,
Who hasn't? But I'm Jewish. I can do that.
Yeah, you can do it 8 times. I'm a junkie, and I am a comedian who's had success on the road. When those two lives meet each other, you're going to have stories. They just happen. And I was willing to tell them in a way that I hope didn't hurt anybody else. So that's why I got a couple of books. I have a 3rd book deal. It's coming out in probably Christmas, right there? Christmas it'll be out.
What other projects you got coming? You got some other things down the pike, don't you?
I'm a regular on an HBO series produced by Judd Apatow. Again, he had my book. He had my first book and called me to audition for the other buddy in this buddy comedy. I mean, an HBO series, I don't know how it falls in my lap. Somebody's looking out for me, man. It's as good a job as a comic like me could get. It's like winning the comedy lottery for a C- list comedian is what I basically am. I am a regular on a show that might get an Emmy. We just got a 2nd season up pickup, and I get good reviews for the first time in my life. It's called Crashing on HBO.
One of these days, Artie Lang, you're going to see the good person that you are that everyone else sees. Listen, whole sad clown thing.
I'm not sad, though. I'm happy. That's the thing. It's like HBO didn't want to give me this job, and again, Judd Apatow fought for me. So you're right. I have these people who stick up for me when I don't deserve it. And Bruce Springsteen called me at home and said, "Man, you got these players who like you for some reason. You better respect that." And,
apparently, Bruce Springsteen's a 90-year-old black man.
No, that's my Quincy Jones. You're right.
Oh, all right.
Listen there, boy. Let me tell you about the comedy business.
Now let's make him a midget.
The Bojang. Let me tell you something. Don't tell me. Let me make some little people porn for you. I'm the midget Lexington Steel, I'll tell you, boy.
Yes, no
little people porn.
No all ages shows this weekend at the Funny Bone.
Me and John Carney are crossing the nation with a little people porn show.
Leave the kids in the car.
John and me are partners in the little people porn business.
Can I be on your podcast? Because it may
anytime you want.
It may be all I have left after this.
Nothing like podcast. A little people podcast.
Artie Lang.
Welcome to the Little People Podcast.
Welcome. Welcome to town. Sorry you're only here through the weekend.
What a team we are.
Imagine the trouble we could cause if
Yeah,
we
you're
had
right, my man.
several days together.
Me, you, and Joe Buck, we'd have hair plugs all over our body. Imagine Joe Buck. Joe, did you hair plug your back? This is getting awful. I'm taking you right to the rehab.
Can we follow you on Twitter?
If you can follow me out the door, if you like.
How do we do that?
Artie Quitter. No lie, Artie Lang was taken by a Japanese porn site.
I'm not shocked at all.
And they're doing great.
Artie Quitter.
ArtieQuitter.com.
Okay.
If you want to hear what 340,000 other Artie Lang fans are talking about.
Enjoy your weekend here in St. Louis.
John, you're a good man, man.
Thanks for
This was
coming
a
in.
lot of fun.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you, Artie Lang.
Bye,
Funny
guys.
Bone this weekend. Call to see what's left ticket-wise. I know several of the shows are sold out, but you got 7:30 and 10 o'clock tonight. And